Welcome everyone to Gambling Insider's interview with Betsson Group CEO Jesper Svensson. And as you'll see, we're both wearing a Liverpool shirt because it's a very historic time in our club's history. Jesper, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to you too. Fantastic feeling. A very, very long wait, but right now it feels amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. We were just talking about kind of it's obviously a little bit different. We can't celebrate the way we normally would, but it's still the most wonderful feeling.
Yeah, we take it. I mean, of course, it's a shame. You would have loved to be in the stadium or out on the streets and all that, but nevertheless, we have learned to adapt to the time we are living in, and yes, the return of sport, and then finally to win the league after 30 years it's two great feelings, right? So we're not gonna let the situation overall take away from that. You know, in times like this, people need joy more than ever, and for sure, last night it was a lot of joy given to Liverpool supporters around the world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of it's a positive time. It's a joyous time, and obviously fans of rival clubs they can't celebrate quite as much as us, and they might hear a lot from us in the next few weeks. But like you say, it's a great positive that football is back and the Premier League is back. And obviously we're here to talk more about we could talk about Liverpool all day, but we're here to talk about the industry and sports betting as well. Yeah. So apart from Liverpool winning the league, in general, what has the return of the Premier League meant for Betsson?
It has been good. I think the return of football overall, starting with Bundesliga, was so welcomed, and it's also people are craving entertainment, and in particular in times when there have been a limitation to everything else in life, movement, going out, and so forth. Then the return of sport gives something extra to it, and we have seen a lot of interest, of course, on this. So very happy that things start to return overall, not just in sports, but in society in general. It follows the same trend in at least a lot of countries, not all countries, but it's nevertheless good to see the return.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, with the absence of major sport, punters look to alternatives, and some alternatives were sports like table tennis, and also virtual sports and eSports. And you've talked about kind of the popularity of these recently. I was wondering, with the return of sport and major sport in Premier League, will these sports actually continue to see some action in the coming months?
Listen, it's a bit speculative. I would say from myself here now, I don't think table tennis will remain the top sport. I think that was more a reflection of the time. On the other hand, eSports has been growing for a long period of time, and that got an extra kick forward now, though. So that trend is very likely to continue, I would say. But football is nevertheless football in the world of betting and in the sports world overall. So that will retain its position for a very long period of time, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, sure, that makes a lot of sense. But as you mentioned, esports got a kind of an unprecedented kick. Do you think actually, as a result of this pandemic, which obviously the pandemic itself is, it's not a good situation, but esports has benefited from kind of a side effect of more players staying at home, and do you think esports can actually retain a large percentage of this new audience?
Yes, I believe so, because there was an underlying very strong growth in that segment, and that also represents a new target group, if you like, for a lot of companies. So I can see that keep going, becoming very big, and I think overall we see some major trends happening now in the world, not just in the world of betting, but overall this is a push forward for digitalization in the society in general. in the online gaming world, which we are in, that will have a positive effect overall, I think. And I think that also shows the sustainability of our industry. It becomes clearer and clearer because sustainable industry, they prove themselves over and over again, in particular in tougher times. And that is what I think the online gaming world has been doing now. Of course, there are many companies that are negatively affected, in particular companies on the offline side that has been closed down, or with a big exposure to offline, a very big exposure to the sports side of things. But all in all, online gaming will come out very strong from this time.
Yeah. Obviously, we spoke at Ice London this year, and this was about a month before kind of the pandemic really took its toll in terms of closures and working from home and things like this. And we spoke about the Euros being the biggest betting event ever. Obviously, that's been delayed by a year or so. But with the recovery and the way things are going, hopefully before next summer, which has been delayed, do you think we can just revise those expectations and it will still be the biggest betting tournament, but just a year later?
I think so. I think so. And I mean, all in all, interest for sports and those type of event is not going to be less because of what happened. Rather the other way around. You really realize how much you miss that, and of course. You think about many things in life and what is important and so forth, and I'm not saying that sport perhaps it's the most important in life, but it is an essential part of society. And I think going forward you will see that interest coming back times more even. So I look forward to next summer instead, and hopefully society in general is coming back in a stronger way as well by then.
Yeah, I think a phrase I've heard recently which describes what you're saying is football is the most important of the least important things. I think that's a good phrase that I've heard.
That's a very good phrase. I think I can agree to that.
Yeah. On the subject of sportsbook and sports betting, Betsson's recently acquired a couple of brands from GIG, from Gaming Innovation Group. How's the integration of those brands developing for the company?
It's going well. We took over that business in mid-April, and we have integrated it piece by piece. Going forward, we'll also integrate our sportsbook into their platform. So hopefully we will see some solid uplift when that is coming to us. So it's a few new exciting brands that we have added to our total portfolio. So we think we can grow them strongly going forward.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've talked a lot about the return of sports, and hopefully, as you say, for the industry and for society as a whole, we can move forward and return to the kind of growth we were seeing before the pandemic. But a key part of our industry is obviously, as we mentioned, for example, ICE earlier, the trade shows and meeting to discuss, sports betting, casino, all the latest trends in the industry. What are your thoughts on kind of trade shows coming back at the moment? Because we may see some in the next couple of months, but obviously no one's sure of when and what kind of measures there'll be in place, if we do all meet up.
I think it's still too early to say, and if it's very soon, then there will be less people going for sure. I think it will take some time until those things return in full force. Eventually it will return, but again, we are in a digital industry and we can do a lot of things digitally as well. It will never replace the human contact in full, of course, but I think this year, for the shows this year, they will see significantly less attendance if they go through, and by next year it's likely then to start to pick up back again.
Well, hopefully the calendar at some point, whenever that is, will return to its full, strength and prosperity. But in terms of our interview, that's all the planned questions I had. So thanks very much for your time, Jesper. But also, just to say one more time, you'll never walk alone.
Exactly, you never walk alone, and this is a good day for all us Liverpool supporters.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for your time, Jesper. Very nice to see you.
Thanks a lot.